Hey Catherine, how you doing? Hey everyone, today we're at Rocky Glen Amusement Park and Music, and we're doing a test video for YouTube. I previously did a video on the Rocky Glen Facebook page, and this is going to be a test video to make sure everyone could watch and join and chat along, because November 5th we'll be doing our annual tour here, and I'll be streaming it live on YouTube. So this is just going to be a test run video just to see how it works, make sure everyone's okay with it, and to fix any issues that we have. So we're starting out at the front entrance here by the sign. Morning, Chris. If you guys remember, if you're over here, this was the former bus stop for Rocky Glen. I'm also using a new phone too. I just recently picked up the Galaxy S8. It's supposed to have a better camera than my previous phone, so hopefully the quality is pretty clear. You can see there's a Colts bus sign right there, and the sign's falling apart. Looks great. Alright, thanks Kevin. I pulled into the lot here. There's actually a few cars here today, so I might come across some people down by the lake. You see, there's not much left of this sign here. Yeah, Catherine, this was an amusement park. It closed down in the 80s. I think it was due to fires that happened. There's multiple fires set here that burned a lot of the structures and the rides, and they ended up just closing it permanently. And there's not much here left, just some foundations, and there's a beautiful lake a little bit ways down the property where they had paddle boats and boat rides and water shows like jet skiing and slides that went into the lake. I know the grounds are... This is Chris, this is in Music, Pennsylvania. It's about 15 minutes from Scranton. This was the main parking lot that we're walking in right now. We'd be heading towards the main entrance, which was a little castle-looking building, which was a ticket booth. A lot of it's overgrown now, but when we do come in November, a lot of the trees and foliage are gone away for the winter, so there's more visible stuff. Yeah, this was at one point called Ghost Town in the Glen, and there was a sister park of this. I forget which state it was at, but it was located on top of a mountain, and it was known for having a western theme to it, with gunfighting shows and dancers and things of that sort. So there was a company that ran this at one point that ran this park and that other park also. You can see the lines are still on the road here, the excuse me, the parking lot for where they had parking. Again, this hasn't been used since the 80s. They do occasionally use this parking lot, or they did at least, for concerts at a nearby concert pavilion called Montage Mountain. They sometimes use this as an overflow parking lot. And Catherine, one note is some of the rides from here were purchased by Knoebels. As you know, I do a lot of Knoebels videos. The antique cars were purchased from here, and the bumper boats. Kevin, I'm using a handheld gimbal. It's called the Smooth Q. It's made specifically for smartphones, and I bought it for $125, and it provides this smooth, steady footage that you see. Right over here, I'm going to show you a couple quick things. Now, some of you may remember there was a sky ride here, similar to the one that you see at the Bloomsburg Fair or other parks, and this big cement or concrete block was the anchor point for it. It was the turnaround point. I'll get a closer look to it. Yeah, the sky ride posts were on top of this, and it went to, I believe, about 100 yards that direction, and it turned around near a Ferris wheel. And right over here, I'll show you, this is the track for the antique cars. And you can still see the rails here from where the cars went. Okay, you can see here, this is the rail for the antique cars. And there's actually a pretty large track here. You can't really tell now because it's overgrown, but it winds its way down there, goes over a bridge, goes near a rock wall. It's pretty lengthy in size, similar to what Knoebels had. And like I said, the Knoebels purchased the cars from here, and from what I was told, some of them are still in use to this day. And that's back in the 80s. They had an auction here. They sold off all the rides. Chris, there's actually a Facebook group called Rocky Glen Memories. If you go to that, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of photos and videos from when the park was open. There was two documentaries made about this place that were put onto DVD for sale. But there's a lot of people that belong to that group that used to work here or used to go here as a child, and they have tons of photos that were uploaded on there. I've been here myself as a child back in the 80s, and I've been coming here ever since. I live 5 minutes away, and it's just a beautiful place to walk around and take photographs and swim and fish. So if you go to that Facebook group, you can spend all day looking at the photos there. There's everything from when it was open to just after it closed during the auction, and everything in between. Yeah, there's a good section of land here. It's supposedly owned by an LLC called White and Black Sand out of New Jersey. They purchased the property a number of years ago, and from what I was told, there was a number of offers put in to sell the park, to sell the property, because people did want to reopen it into another amusement park of sorts, but they didn't want to budge on their asking price, which I guess is ridiculously high. So it's just sitting here, letting Mother Nature reclaim it. Now, the direction we're looking right now is where it was called the Jet Coaster used to be. It was a white wooden coaster. It's called, I think, the Mighty Lightning, and later on called the Jet. And that got destroyed when they were moving a swing tower. The tower actually fell onto the track, destroying part of it, and they ended up just tearing the rest of it down, and it basically got bulldozed into the ground. Surprisingly, there's actually sections of the track sticking out. I'll show you up here. You can find some of the rail and stuff. And Kevin, if you're curious about this gimbal, it's called the Smooth Q. You can look it up. It's on Amazon. I also did a review video about it. So if you go to my JPVideos page on YouTube, scroll down a little ways, I have a video demonstrating how it works and everything. Okay, now if you can see, it might be hard on the camera, but there's a wooden planks right there. That's part of the coaster. There's track that's attached to the side of it, and up farther in there you can't see it now, but there is pieces of rail sticking out that the coaster rode on. So it's all buried under this ground here. When we do come in November for the tour, a lot more of this is visible, so we'll be able to see it then. Yeah, Gene, I have to agree with you there. It seems like kids nowadays just want like the latest and greatest thrill rides. They don't really have an appreciation for the classic rides that were here. Thankfully, parks like Knoebels do refurbish and keep those rides going for people to appreciate, but if it was here today, it would not do well for attendance compared to parks like Dorney and Hershey. Catherine, the tour is basically just for people for memory's sake. There's a gentleman named Andrew who has done extensive research on this location. He's also came here as a child, and it's just to walk around and relive some of the memories of what used to be here and people that used to work here. We just talk about how it used to be and, you know, what we would do if we were able to reopen the park. Now this is a steep hill coming down here, and this was part of a ride, if you can believe it. It was called the Duck. It was an amphibian vehicle that would come down this hill at a decent rate of speed. You'd be sitting in the back of it, and it would basically splash into the lake and drive you around the lake. And this was the road it drove down. Chris, I'm not familiar with the exact number. I want to say, I'm just going to ballpark at 200 plus acres, maybe 300. I'm not sure of that. I know there's some people that are aware of the exact estimate, but I'm not currently aware of that. And one thing I love to show over here, we're going to take a little detour here. This is something I've never seen anywhere else before. As you can see here, these are stone couches. These are made out of concrete and stone, and they're basically built right into the wall here. Now, when you were sitting here, you had a great view of the lake. Unfortunately, you don't have that view today with all the overgrowth, but as you can see through there, the lake is back there. We'll get down to that, but I think these are really incredible that they survived all this time and that they had this for the guests to use. Now, this part wasn't down last time I was here, so it looks like either somebody's been trying to destroy it or it's falling down just from natural decay. And over here, there's actually some almost like love seats. Here's some smaller ones. And this stone wall you see, this goes throughout most of the park here. It's very beautiful and ornate, and they spent a lot of time, I'm assuming, building that, and still survives to this day. Gene, yes, I saw your comment that you watched that video. Thanks for watching. I never personally knew anyone that was a patient there, but I have heard a lot of stories about it, and it's a pretty neat place to walk around. As you can see, here's more of the rock wall here. Now on the left here, where the camera's showing, was called the Swiss Cottage, and it was like a Swiss chalet. It had an apartment upstairs, I believe a restaurant downstairs. It was a very, very beautiful building. It had a lot of stonework on it, some neat architectural designs to it. If you go on Google Images, just search Rocky Glen Swiss Cottage, you'll see photos of it, of how it used to look, and it's something like you'll never see today. and it's just all a pile of rubble now. And here is the lake, Rocky Glen Lake. A few interesting facts about this place, about the lake. One is that it is spring fed. Very back of the lake there's a spring that feeds into it. So there's always a constant supply of water coming into it. Also, a lot of the lake is shallow around the perimeter of it, but in the middle part it goes up to about 30 feet deep, deep enough for boats to drive around in. And I personally went snorkeling around this half of the lake over here, and underneath the ground there's remnants of the boat dock that's here. I'll show you more of it here. You can see that the water, here's the remains of the boat dock, but the water is always clear. I should say 99% of the time clear. You could see straight to the bottom. I went snorkeling around here, and not only is there remains of the dock here, but on that area over there, there's a lot of concrete posts and a lot of footers in the ground that held not only a dock for a miniature train ride, but for a roller coaster that went directly straight ahead here, called the $1 Million Coaster. At one time it was the largest coaster in the world, and that was back in like the 1950s. But a lot of the remains of it is underwater, the footings for it. And straight across there is a concrete block with posts of wood coming out of it, and that was one of the turnaround points, the anchors for the coaster. Yes, it's November 5th, the tour. This lake is incredibly warm in the summer. It's almost like bath water. As I said, it's clear. You can see straight to the bottom, out to about 20 feet. And I come swimming here very often in the summer. It's a great place to cool off and relax, and no one really bothers you. Gene, hopefully you could attend the tour if you're around. If not, I will be streaming it live, just like I am today. So whoever's not able to attend will be able to join us. This is also a beautiful area to walk around in the fall. I've done some drone videos here where the leaves are changing, and it just looks beautiful with the contrast of the water and the different colors of leaves. It's really breathtaking to see it in person. Here's some people up there by the beach area. This area straight ahead of us here was a giant dance hall. I believe there's also a penny arcade at one time, but they had shows in here and dancers, and there's a very large building that was built right on the edge of the lake here, and this is just the foundation that's left of it. Now you can see here there is trash in the lake. Unfortunately, near the edge of it, people do throw stuff in, and it just ruins this spot in the area. But there's tires there. Looks like part of a safe, shopping cart. This looks like part of a refrigerator. But you could also get a sense of how clear the water is too. It's amazing how it is. Yeah, Catherine, I'm right there with you. I hate when people have to try and destroy and ruin things. I don't understand the purpose of it. I'd much rather see things preserved than destroyed. Now, where we're walking, straight out ahead of us, at one time there was a big slide that went into the lake, like a ladder that you would climb up and slide down into the lake. It was pretty much straight ahead of us, somewhere out here in the water. And there's a sandy beach over here. There's a sandy beach over here where they had a pool house and some water slides. There's actually an in-ground pool over there that's still visible. It's all growing in with cattails and debris, but it's still here though. You can see there's some guys with dirt bikes over there. This is a popular swimming area in the summers, especially when it was open. It was in much better shape. All the grass that's there wasn't there at the time. There's pictures of it, how it used to look, and it was a very beautiful area. And right here in front of us here, this little inlet that comes in, this is actually a boat docking area. They had a miniature like paddle boat, steamboat type vessel that went out through the lake here, and I believe they used to park it here at night. It came into the back of the pavilion here, the dance hall. Rich, yeah, I definitely agree. Good fishing spot for sure, especially in the back part of the lake. It's shallower back there, and there's a lot of tree stumps. And if you're able to walk back there or get a boat back there, I know there's some large bass, pickerel, bluegill. I'm not sure what else, but my brother and myself have caught a few big ones out of here. This is looking straight across right where the $1 million coaster would have been. It was a very large coaster. It was one of the, like I said, the largest at one time when it was built. And also, when we get over there, I'll show you, that was the rail bed for the Laurel Line trolley. It took you from, I believe, Wilkes-Barre to here and Scranton to here, and that was the old rail line for it. And that used to be one of the stops here to drop passengers off to enjoy the park. And if anyone, I mentioned before, if anyone's interested in coming, we're going to be here November 5th, 2 p.m. for the tour. This is, I believe, our third or fourth year in a row that we're doing it. It's led by a gentleman named Andrew. He's a moderator of the Facebook group, Rocky Glen Memories. He leads the tour. It's about a 2-hour tour. You've got to be prepared for a lot of walking. Wear appropriate footwear. There's dirt and rocks and concrete and glass. So just got to take precautions. But it will be 2 p.m. We meet in the lower parking lot. And it's a good tour. It takes you around most of the park. He has photos showing what used to be where, and explains what happened to some of the rides and the history of the park. So if you're able to attend, I highly suggest you do so. If not, it will be streamed live just like this video is today. Right here where we're looking was the western town. It was called Ghost Town in the Glen. There's several building facades here. Gunfighters used to, have gunfights and fall from the roof and everything. And it was pretty popular. I believe that was in the 70s. We're going to take a walk over now where the coaster used to be, where the Laurel Line tracks used to be, and we're going to end it up where the dam is. There's a dam outlet area where the lake drains out of. So we'll head over there now. All right, Catherine, have a good day. Thanks for stopping in. Now, the area we're walking right now, I believe in the 70s to the 80s, there was a miniature train ride that went around here, around the edge of the lake, and areas where I'm walking here. It was similar to the one that you find at Knoebels or other amusement parks. It's just a small miniature train ride. It's one of several that were here, but there's one that went up in the upper area of the park near the jet coaster. And back in the 50s, there was one that went alongside the $1 million coaster. So they had at least 3 different train rides, but 2 of them were down here near the lake. And you can see there's a lot of foundations here. There's a foundation right there for what was once the type of building. can probably see here, the shoreline's right here, and it drops off pretty steeply there. And the water gets pretty deep in this area. It's probably at least 20-30 feet. I've snorkeled this whole area here right up to there, and over in the corner here, if you watch, just search YouTube Rocky Glen Park underwater or Rocky Glen Park Lake. I have 2 videos from here. In this corner, there's almost like wooden steps underwater that are going down. I don't know what they are, what they were used for. To this day, I still don't know why they're there, but it's pretty intriguing to see. Also, you could just go to my page on YouTube, click on playlist. I have one that's specifically called Rocky Glen, and all my videos are there, so they're easy to find. Chris, the water is extremely clear. This is one of the clearest bodies of water I've seen in the area here. I think it's partly due to the fact that it's spring-fed in the rear of the lake, and it drains out to a dam. So there's a constant supply of fresh water coming into the lake. Now, where we're walking right now was basically right where a wooden coaster would have been, called the $1 Million Coaster. It didn't cost that much to make it. I believe it cost $100,000, but they got the name $1 Million Coaster just because of how big and impressive it was. It looked like it would have cost $1 million. And we're basically walking right where it would have been right now, as well as the railroad tracks for the Laurel Line trolley cars that would bring people to the park. Now there's a little outlet here, a little break in the water that separates the lake from the outlet. And at one point there was a bridge here for the tracks to go over, which has long been gone. But it was at one point used as a passageway for boats to cross through. But it's heavily built up with debris and everything, and it's not very passable right now. You can see right now it's pretty filled up. This used to be about 10 feet deep at one point, but over the years everything just built up from debris. And you can see the water, the leaf there, it naturally flows through here. It's just a natural stream of water that goes out to the outlet, so it's always moving in one direction, so to speak. And then you can see here, there's the outlet. It's remarkable how clear it is. You can see right to the bottom. No trouble at all. There's also a barrel in the water right there. And of course, a lot of algae and seaweed on the bottom, but other than that, it is a very clear body of water. And in the summertime, you can walk right in and it's like bath water. The tracks were removed a long time ago. I believe when they removed some of the rides, they tore up the tracks. Now if you walk this way, there are remains of the rail bed where the railroad ties are, but the tracks I believe they removed either to reuse somewhere else or to scrap them for scrap metal. But the tracks haven't been here for a long time, but this trail just basically follows the rail bed, the tracks, and it goes out towards Montage, towards the Scranton area. We're going to head down to the dam. Everyone who's watching, has anyone came over here from the Rocky Glen page? Because I did post a link there telling you how to find me, so I'm just curious if anyone did follow me to this video from over there, or if you just found me on YouTube. I'd appreciate it if you could let me know, just to make sure that people were able to get here easily enough. Alright, and that's something I want to show you here. Found on YouTube, okay. You can see there's a concrete, like almost wall here in the water. And this was almost like a dock area where the train ride would go around the edge of the lake. And this has wooden supports on it supporting the dock. And that's what you're looking at right there. And here's a look from the other side. We were just over there not too long ago. Right behind us here, right behind those trees, is Glen National Golf Course. It's a private club, but it's a very beautiful course. It has a lot of huge mansions around it, and it goes in and out of the woods. It's a very nice area. Chris, now today, if you came here, you wouldn't find anything. I did come here, I want to say it was around 2005, and the area that we're walking up here, there was actually some old coaster cars and whip cars that were just kind of sitting on the side here. I did manage to get one of the caster wheels from the whip car. I still have it to this day at my house, but everything has long been gone. There's been people here, you know, over the years scavenging the place for anything that was left behind, and unfortunately it's all gone now. Another popular spot that was here is right where this big tree is fallen in. That used to be a rope swing. That tree used to be standing and there was a rope hanging from it, and people would basically swing and jump into the water. And you can see here the water is a little bit deeper. It goes off. But that used to be a popular spot up until a few years ago. A lot of people still frequent the place and party here and camp here, you know, on weekends. People on quads and dirt bikes. Now there are people that do belong to the Facebook group that do have old tickets and coins and prizes that they won here, like mugs and frames and stuff like that. And sometimes you see those things popping up on eBay, but you probably won't find anything here unless you were to go probably scuba diving in the bottom of the lake. There's probably some treasures you could find. But right in this area here is right where there was 2 coaster car chassis here. I'm not sure which coaster they were from, probably the Jet, the most recent one. And there was 1 or 2 whip cars or pretzel cars that were here. And they were sitting in this brush here. I do have photos of those. They were posted to the group back from 2005. But I'm sure if somebody grabbed them and hopefully repurposed them or refurbished them, but I haven't seen them turn up anywhere. I can see up here there's some concrete walls or cinder block walls from structures that used to be up there at one point. Up on top there used to be Dodgems, also known as bumper cars, and a few other things. There was the platform, loading platform is up that way for the $1 million coaster. There's also bathrooms up there where you can still see the tile on the ground. There's a better view of it there. And over here is the dam. This is where the lake eventually drains out of. Yeah, Chris, back in the 80s, I'm not sure exactly what year, it's mid-80s, one of the buildings caught fire, which I believe spread to other buildings, or it's destroyed a good part of it. I believe they did try to reopen after that, and then soon after there was another fire that destroyed even more of it, and it never reopened since then. They never, to this day, found out who did it. Most likely arson. Not sure if it was for insurance reasons or not, but I believe the last year it was open, it was 86, I believe, maybe 87. And shortly after that, they had a public auction here, and they auctioned off a lot of the rides and equipment. This is the dam we're walking on here. It's also a popular area for snakes. There's been multiple sightings of snakes here. I believe water snakes. They usually hang out on the rocks here, and they have holes inside the crevices. And down here on the right, there's a old pump house. Now, there's also a coaster here at one point too, which I believe was here before the $1 Million coasters, up until I believe the 40s. It's called the Mountain Dips. And it basically started way up that way and worked its way down with a bunch of dips in this little valley here. Turned around and came back, and the pictures from when the coaster was here still shows this pump house, and that was a long time ago. And we tried searching for some remains back here. It's all wooded now and grown in. We did find some concrete blocks that had like metal posts coming out of it. May have been for like a railing or something, but there's definitely a coaster here at one point, and you can find pictures of that if you just search Mountain Dips Coaster, Rocky Glen. As you can see here, the water is just as clear as the other places. I'm just keeping an eye out, make sure I don't spook any snakes. And this turn the camera around. Sorry about that. I lost connection there for some reason. Yeah, Matt, I was just mentioning before, there are snakes in this area here. I'm not going to walk across the dam because I don't know how stable the edge of it is. When we get down bottom, you'll see that's not entirely intact. There is water leaking through it. But if you can see right there, there's a dead fish right there. Looks like he got trapped up there and couldn't make his way back. It's a nice area, but unfortunately it is littered with trash, like a lot of the other parts of the park. But we're going to make our way down to the bottom, and I'll give you a view from there. There are pictures too that we found showing this dam was actually exposed right where I'm walking here. This was all opened up, and it was basically a long dam that went as far as over here, and it wasn't filled up like this with dirt. It was actually exposed. You saw the whole rock wall. Yes, I'm from Music, born and raised here. Here's the pump house. There's still some equipment left inside there. There's somebody made like a hole in the side of it. I don't want to get over there right now because you can't really see if there's any snakes in the grass, but when we come in November, we'll probably check it out. Right behind Garrity's. Oh yeah, then you're close by. Are you still in the area, or did you move out? And here's the bottom of the dam. As you can see, there's water coming through some of the cracks up there. East Mountain. Okay, so you didn't go too far away. Yeah, I'm literally 5 minutes from here. If you remember where the Apple House Trucking Company used to be, it's Jack Williams now. I'm right behind there. As I was saying, this wall is exposed down here like this. You can be able to see all the wall. And that's how it was all the way up to where we were, where we started. but they eventually filled it in over time. As mentioned, right where I'm standing was a roller coaster back in the 20s to I believe the 40s, called the Mountain Dips Coaster. It went right through the spot here. And as you can see, it's littered with garbage and trash here. Matt, if you're in the area, November 5th, we're actually having an annual tour here at Rocky Glen. It's our third or fourth consecutive tour. It's led by a gentleman named Andrew. He's a moderator of Rocky Glen Memories on Facebook. Last year we had a large turnout. It was over really 20 people. It's about a 2-hour tour. He starts off in the lower parking lot, takes you through a lot of the popular areas, shows photos of what used to be there, explains a lot of the history of the park. So if you're able to attend, you're welcome to come. It's 2 p.m. November 5th. Those of you who can't attend, it will be streamed live on YouTube, just like this video is today. And you'll be able to chat live and ask any questions or anything. Now, Chris, if you can't come, then you're welcome to watch us on YouTube and enjoy the tour from the comfort of your screen or computer. Alright, I'm going to head back towards the main lot where I started with my car, and I'm going to wrap it up there. When we do come in November too, like I said, a lot of the foliage is gone by then. A lot of the dead leaves are gone. So a lot more things will be visible than they are today. There's not a whole lot more to see, but whatever we do show will be more visible, so it'll be a little bit better. You can see there's some more walls up there. Some fencing, telephone poles. Somewhere in this area was the loading platform for the $1 Million Coaster, and also the station was around here for the Laurel Line trolley. And again, there was tracks going straight ahead. If you look up there, there's like a little mountain there that flattens off. That's the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport. So we're very close to the airport. Lots of people were here this past August. They held their first air show here, I believe in, I want to say 17 years it was. And it went on for the whole weekend. And this place was packed with people down here watching it, just because it's such a great view and such close proximity to the airport. Matt, also, if you're still watching, if you're interested in seeing more of this park, I did a number of videos from here, including underwater in the lake. I've done some drone videos here. If you go to my YouTube page, JPVideos, click on the playlist tab, and under there there's one titled Rocky Glen, and all the videos are there, including the past year's tours. This is the little path that cut through, that connected the main part of the park to the lower parking lot, which we're exiting right now. On the left-hand side here, this was I showed earlier. JPVideos. There's one word, JPVideos. You can also find the name to my video, to my channel under the description area of this video. Right here is another part of the track for the antique cars. You can see it right here. That's the rail it went on and continued down that way. It's all overgrown here now, but underneath here is all concrete that the cars drove on. Oh yeah, I go by Jason. P's the initial for my last name. You can call me JP if you want, but I'll probably be the only one here with a camera, so I'll be pretty easy to find. I film a lot of things around the area here. I do abandoned locations all throughout Northeast PA. I film a lot of things from Knoebels, events up Montage and stuff, so I have a whole variety of things on there. If you ever get bored on a rainy day, you're welcome to check it out. You can see here's the concrete that's underneath that. All the debris, this is what the antique cars drove on. There's actually, I forgot to show you, there's a little kiddie pool over here. Super 8, yeah, that's one of my more popular abandoned videos. Now here, if you can see, it's a little pool. This was called the wet boat ride. If you are familiar with a place like Knoebels, they had the little boats that went around in the water. You ring the bell on them, and that's what this was right here. Buck Hill Inn, no, I never made it there. It's actually in the process, if it hasn't been already, demolished. They had the whole place fenced off with heavy equipment up there a few months ago, and I don't know if it's all gone yet, but they're in the process of it, and fortunately never made it up there. I believe, if I can find it, yeah, here it is up here. Here's a relic from the past, an old fire hydrant. I'd imagine this is probably used at one point when the park was on fire. The firemen hooked up their hoses to this. Chris, local economy, it's not fantastic, but it's a lot better than some areas. I'd say it's oh, got stuck on some pickers there, sorry. About middle income here, you know, it's nothing extensive. There are some nicer, more expensive areas, and also some more low income, poor areas, but overall it's a fairly average income place. Matt, yeah, that's one of the reasons I probably didn't go there sooner that I was going to, is because I heard that the neighboring houses to Buck Hill were very willingly up to calling the cops if they saw someone there. I did see videos of people there on YouTube that were exploring the place, and I saw cop cars rolling by in the video, and I definitely didn't want to do what you did and go home with a fine or something worse. So it's unfortunate that it happened, but I guess they didn't want anybody to get hurt in there or something worse. 1 bedroom, 1,700. Wow. I currently, I own a home right now, But I know apartments average probably a 2-bedroom. I want to say around between $600 to $800. You could probably rent a half a double or rent a single home for less than $1,000 a month here. So that's quite a bit of money out there. And Chris, if you're in California, I'm not sure if you follow a gentleman named Adam the Woo. He moved out to California. He has an abandoned channel where he does abandoned videos and road trips, but he also has a daily vlog channel, and he did daily vlogging for 5 years straight, and he actually just stopped doing it a few weeks ago. But he does a lot of his videos out in Hollywood there. It's Adam the Woo. He has 2 channels. His main channel he hasn't used in a while, but he's supposed to start doing it again. And it's called the Daily Woo, and he has a lot of pretty cool videos. He does roadside attractions, a lot of things from Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, and a lot of movie locations where they shot the movies at. Alright, we're exiting the main parking lot here. To the right here is the upper parking lot. You can still see the Rocky Glen sign up there. Hey, Electrical Dynamo, thanks for checking in. Yeah, we're just doing a little live streaming here from an abandoned amusement park here called Rocky Glen. Matt, yeah, I did watch that. I believe it was on MTV's Fear. And the show Ghost Hunters, that was on Sci-Fi. I believe they did a ghost hunting investigation there also. This is where I started the video today, and we're going to wrap it up over here. This is the main entrance area. This was a former bus stop for our visitors of Rocky Glen. The sign has seen better days. I'm actually waiting for one of these letters to fall. I like to try and snatch it if possible. Keep it as a relic of the park. You can see right in that small sign there, it says Colts Bus Stop. This was an active bus stop back in the 80s. And hasn't seen a passenger in a long time. There used to be benches under there. No, Matt, I don't believe I did, if you're referring to Buck Hill Inn. I heard rumors about the place, but I don't know if I heard what you're talking about. But if you're able to, if you have Facebook, I have a Facebook page. The link is always down below in the description. It's on Facebook as JPVideos. You're welcome to like that page and message me there. And if you want to chat further about it, you're welcome to. You could also comment below in the video, and I'll respond to it also. As you can see, there's other people here today. There's another car parked there by mine, and in the upper lot there were some cars parked up there too. And down by the lake there was a few dirt bikes and people walking around. So this place, even though it's been closed a few decades, still sees visitors every summer, every year. Alright, Chris, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. Be on the lookout for my next video coming out in a few days from an abandoned coal mine company that I visited yesterday. Alright, Matt, take care. I'll see you later too. Anyone else is watching, appreciate you stopping by today. This was just a test run for the annual tour. Make sure everyone's able to watch and communicate with me. Hopefully it was successful. And this video will be up on my page if you want to watch it later. An airplane flying over. And it'll also be up on the Rocky Glen Facebook page. If you haven't liked that page, I suggest you do so. Tons of great stories, photos, videos from the park. And again, November 5th, 2 p.m. will be the tour here. Anyone in the area, welcome to come. If not, just tune into my YouTube page. We will be streaming it live. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I do post a video. And we'll see you on the next one. So take care.